Today I'm going to model two counting strategies that all students are expected to use when asked the question, how many, or when counting objects in front of them. The first counting strategy that I'm going to model is called slide and count, or some people call it count and move. In this strategy, the student will take one object from their organized or unorganized pile and they will slide it while counting that object at the same time. Usually the student will move it into an organized line. It just makes counting easier and helps them to keep track of their counting. So I'll begin. How many blocks do I have? The student would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. There are 9 blocks. The second counting strategy that I will model is called one touch, one number, touch and count. In this strategy, the students will do the same. They will find out how many in an organized or an unorganized set, but this time they won't move it to a different place. They'll just count and give each object one number name. For example, a student might say, I'll use the touch and count strategy to count these cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 cubes in this set. I use the strategy one touch, one number. Now I'm going to show you a counting strategy that students can use when they're counting to find out how many and their objects are on paper. This first strategy is called using counting dots, and it's done by students just making a dark enough dot on each object to keep track of the object, assigning it one and only one number name. It would look something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 objects. Students can also go back and label their thinking to justify and be sure that they have counted only 8. Labeling is done by writing the numeral as close as they can to the object. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, I have 8 objects. Now I'm going to show you another counting strategy that students can use when they're counting to find out how many and their objects are on paper. This strategy is called cross and count. The students are to cross out each object and count at the same time, giving each object one and only one number name. The important thing to remember is that students should be crossing and counting at the same time. For example, a student might do this to find out how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 objects. Students may also go back and check their thinking by labeling each object. This also gives them practice in assigning a number to its name. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, I have 8 objects. The last strategy that we're going to talk about today is called the counting path. This is another counting strategy that students can use when they're counting to find out how many and their objects are on paper. Students would simply start with the starting dot and then begin to connect each object, assigning each connection with one and one number name. It would look something like this. First, the student could start off with a counting dot or a starting position. And they would begin and then say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 objects here. They could also go back and they could label their objects or their path to be sure that they had 7. This time, instead of labeling the objects, they're labeling the path. That would look something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, I have 7 objects here.